About 200 students at UMass Amherst are now suspended after being caught partying this past weekend. Good Monday evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano. Now, this comes as the university is also taking strict actions to make sure students get tested for the coronavirus twice a week. Western Mass News reporter Sarah Gurnelli is live for us in Amherst with all the details. Sarah.
Chris, those students who were caught at that party have been suspended from school. And not only that, if they lived on campus, they've been told to move. And the school is also incentivizing people to get a COVID-19 vaccine, because if they don't, their online access to their classrooms will be shut down. A huge party off campus at the University of Massachusetts Amherst is a cause for concern for many students during the coronavirus pandemic.
It's easy for everyone to talk about doing the right thing, but then when a big party comes around, everyone's morals kind of fly out the door.
Lucy Poulin, a UMass senior, says she wasn't shocked when she heard about the large gathering over the weekend, which led 200 students to getting suspended. The suspensions are proof that the university has put strict consequences in place for breaking pandemic protocol. Here's one. If students fail to get tested twice a week for the coronavirus, their online classrooms will be shut down. Those students won't have access to campus facilities and dining.
It definitely adds the incentive. We had a lot less people here in the fall, so I know a lot of people, were getting tested as it was convenient.
The university says it takes a couple of days for the students' accesses to be revoked. Western Mass News spoke with another student who says she doesn't think the school should shut students out if they don't get tested. She wishes there was another way.
I honestly hate coming to get tested because I'm immunocompromised, and it kind of just seems like a hot spot for COVID, and it's just scary. So I wish I didn't have to do that.
For her, she thinks there should be a drive-up site.
I think if we could once a week drive up, pick up tests, bring them to our house, and then at the end of the week drop them off again, so that everyone's not accumulating in the same area, I think that would probably.
So far the university says since the beginning of the school year, at least 1,000 students have broken COVID-19 protocol. Live in Amherst, I'm Sarah Gurnelli for Western Mass News.
Sarah, thanks for that live report. The Department of Public Health releasing today's COVID-19 data. They say the state's positivity rate over the last 7 days sits at 1.67%. They also tell us there have been 18 new deaths due to the coronavirus, and so far more than 1.4 million Massachusetts residents have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. There are approximately 6.8 million residents living here in the Bay State. For a full look at the numbers, you can check them out on our free Western Mass News streaming app. For several weeks now, people across the state have been trying to sign up for a COVID-19 vaccine online. Many finding no luck in snagging one of the very few available appointments. An employee of one Massachusetts-based biotech company has now created a way to get alerts about open slots, and it's all through Twitter. Western Mass News reporter AUDREY RUSSO has those details live for us tonight from Springfield. AUDREY.
This software developer I spoke with says the Twitter bot he designed is basically the same as a person sitting at the computer and hitting refresh over and over again on maimmunizations.org. Dan Cahoon is a software developer at Ginkgo Bioworks in Boston. He says he watched as friends and coworkers tried to sign up for the very limited number of COVID-19 doses that become available each week.
You have to go to various different pages. You have to sort of be online for hours at a time, refreshing, looking over and over again.
Putting his computer skills to work, he developed a Twitter bot that will do the searching and refreshing for you.
Looks at the website on a periodic basis, and when it finds no appointments, it'll just notify.
All you have to do is follow @VaccineTime on Twitter. Enable notifications for the account so you'll see every time the bot tweets. And all it tweets out are open vaccine appointments whenever they pop up on maimmunizations.org.
The Thursday drops are the largest sites, the mass immunization sites, but there are smaller ones that update on other days.
So cancellations and smaller clinic availabilities will show up on @VaccineTime's feed. Western Mass News found the bot regularly posts about openings at the Berkshire Community College Fieldhouse and the Greenfield Senior Center. But you have to act fast, as the number of slots is usually low.
Like maybe 20 or 30 appointments.
While those eligible wait around for Thursdays, @VaccineTime is just one more tool for the unvaccinated person's tool belt.
if you were just to sit there every minute refreshing and looking for new spots. It's doing the same thing.
Now, one important thing to note is that At Vaccine Time is not linked to some of the pharmacy websites like CVS and Walgreens. So if you were looking to book an appointment through them, you'll have to check their websites as well. Live in Springfield, AUDREY Russo for Western Mass News.
AUDREY, great information there. Thank you for that live report. And Western Mass News is your vaccine authority. We're getting you answers surrounding the COVID-19 vaccine and its rollout. So grab your phones, open the camera app, and scan that QR code there at the bottom of your screen for the latest vaccine headlines, vaccination sites, and to send us a vaccine-related question. You can also call us with your questions at 413-846-0200 or email us at vax@westernmassnews.com. A reminder that this is not, however, for signing up to get the vaccine. Now to a story Western Mass News has been following since March, just wrapping up in South Hadley. Families are protesting the GORSE Children's Center's scheduled closure. Western Mass News reporter LINDSEY KANE live for us in South Hadley with those details. Lindsay?
Chris, parents and children marched holding signs and chanting "Save Gorse" all the way from the Children's Center here to the front of campus. The Gorse Children's Center on Mount Holyoke College's campus was set to close this June. But after parents protested the decision, the closure was pushed to June 2022. Parents tell Western Mass News while this was a first step, they don't want to put a Band-Aid on a bigger problem.
The march today is symbolic for two reasons. One, because it's International Women's Day, and we wanted to draw attention to the fact that women are mainly affected by not only the pandemic, but also by the lack of childcare currently in the area, and to really focus on the fact that GORSE Center is such a high-quality educational center for our children.
She says the parent group is pushing for a seat at the table to talk about long-term plans to keep the center open for their children permanently. About 60 families took place in the march this evening. Be sure to stick with Western Mass News on air and online for the latest information. Live in South Hadley, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Lindsay, thank you for that live report. Earlier today, Congressman Richard NEAL held a press conference outside of his Springfield office ahead of the House's vote on the American Rescue Plan. The act relates to the pandemic and the country's economic recovery. It would include an additional $1,400 of unemployment insurance checks of $1,400 to all recipients who qualify. NEAL also hopes it will help create a rainy day fund for governors. He says the country's economy still has a long way to go.
There are 10 million jobs that were lost that we have not regained. Labor participation rates are still down for women who left the workforce because they were caught up largely in the dilemma of childcare and schools not being reopened.
The bill has passed the Senate, and final passage will be determined by the House this week, and then it goes on to the President.
We did have a very cold start out there this morning. Temperatures close to single digits, but we rebounded nicely, ended up getting back to about 40 degrees, which is a little bit below average for this time of year. And tonight it's cooling off quickly. We're back down to 34 degrees in Springfield. We do have cloud cover that's increasing coming in out of the west tonight, and that's going to help to keep us a lot milder compared to where we were early this morning. But it is still brisk. Wind is out of the northwest at about 8 miles an hour, so it's feeling a little bit colder because of the breeze. But everybody pretty much now is in the upper 20s to mid 30s across Western Mass, and breezes will continue to lighten up. I think we'll keep about a 5 mile an hour breeze overnight, which isn't too bad. Clouds rolling in out of the west, but most of the wet and wintry weather coming in with this warm front will pass us just off to the north, so we should stay dry for the rest of the night. Looking at your hour-by-hour forecast, temperatures will dip back into the 20s and then hold fairly steady. They may even teeter for a while, kind of rising up and then back down again. I would say by sunrise tomorrow morning, most of us will be in the middle to upper 20s. But a fast warm-up is on the way for your Tuesday. The milder temperature stretch begins for tomorrow. Highs will be climbing into the lower and middle 50s by the afternoon, but it will be a little blustery. Wind will be at about 10 to 20 miles an hour out of the northwest. Now, the end of the week is looking even warmer. Your 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Chris.
Janna, thanks. A follow-up now on the search for an 11-year-old Chicopee boy. A family member telling Western Mass News Connecticut State Police are working to get sonar boats out on the Connecticut River to search for Aiden Blanchard. Police say there will also be a canine team searching alongside the river on Wednesday and then Friday this week. The family is asking the public to stand down on that possible organized kayak search as they don't want to interfere with the police boats. That search was originally planned with the kayaks for Wednesday. West Springfield Police Department asking for your help identifying suspects in a March 6th incident. They say it started as a road rage incident right around 3:30 in the afternoon on Route 20 in Westfield. Officials say it continued into West Springfield and multiple shots were fired near Charles Avenue. Now, luckily, no one was injured. The suspects were seen driving a light green Kia SUV. If you have any information about this, you should call the West Springfield Police Department.